Good morning, y'all. Nice to see you in the house of the Lord today. So, the cost of discipleship is much more than we know, right? It takes everything. It's not comfortable, but most of all, leads you into victory, right? True victory, not just something that we can imagine, but something far above that, right? And if you are on that fence, give or take, of hey, should I do this? Or if you are a Christian, but you're like, well, I don't, or you're kind of on that lukewarm state, or you're flowing in between. Let me ask you this: do you know that Jesus died for you? Do you know that He was resurrected? Do you know that we have all fallen short of the glory of God? And if your answer is yes, then okay. Then you do it. But if the answer is no, then I would do something else, because it's not easy. It's not comfortable. But if you don't do it, it's not worth it. If you don't do it, guess what? It doesn't happen. So, we will begin. So first, discipleship will take everything. That is a guarantee, right? So I'm going to point you over to Matthew 16, verse 24 to 26 here. And it states, "Then Jesus said to His disciples, 'Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will find it.'" Something I want to point out here. Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For whoever wants to save your life will lose it. Right? So if you want to keep your life in your own hands, right, and to do your will in your life, you'll lose it. What do I mean by that? Well, it's as simple as, hey, if you do your will in your own life and you do not accept Him as your Lord and Savior, right, and you do not allow Him to become first in your life, then when you die and that judgment happens, you'll go to a place where the spirit and the body are dead. Okay? And then denying yourself, right? It's not just being, well, you know what, I'm instead, of feeding into lust or porn today, I'm gonna go feed my flesh, you know what I mean? It's not doing that, but it's denying everything. What you want to do, it's denying what you want to do and being like, Lord, have it. It's yours. Okay. So now, and that is one of my favorite verses, because it's so much more than just, hey, you know what I mean? It's so much more than just face value, and it's really just wisdom upon wisdom that we are given by God. And it's such a beautiful passage because it's the truth. And sometimes the truth is scary. But those who follow Him are truly, they are led into victory. So there's no thing about it. Okay. So I'm going to bring you to Luke 14, verse 27. And it states here. Let me find it. Sorry, I had it and I lost it. "And whoever does not carry their cross and follow me cannot be my disciple." Short but sweet. But it's saying that the same thing, right? Whoever does not deny themselves and carry their cross like He did cannot be my disciple, right? So it's something where it reinforces the first one, the first Matthew 24 through 26. But with it comes another thing, right? Discipleship, right? Whoever does not follow me cannot be my disciple. So I want you to remember that, right? Every time you're being like, okay, what do I do now? Or is this really for me? I want you to remember that, right? Because without that truth, without that the first commitment to deny yourself, there's no discipleship, right? There's nothing there. So if you do not say, okay, Lord, I'm going to do this. I'm going to deny myself. I'm going to pick up my cross so that you can do what you want with me. If you do not agree to that, or you do not volunteer to do that, then discipleship never starts. It never begins. Okay. And here's my last one here. Matthew 10:35 here. Matthew chapter 10, verse 35, and it states, "For I've come to turn a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law." And the reason I picked this verse, right, is because discipleship doesn't just take what you want to do. It doesn't take your will away from you, right? But you can also lose other things, right? Like family. You'll lose money. You'll lose physical things in your life, right? But you'll gain so much more. You'll get tenfold back. So you might lose a dad. You might lose a father, depending on certain circumstances. But overall, the victory is so much better than what you'll lose. You'll gain it all back. I'll promise you that. You will. So, I'm going to kind of summarize this, right? This section. Discipleship is not just physical, right? It's not just, hey, I'm just going to, come saved and there we go, right? It's more than a one-time process, right? You got to pick up your cross daily and follow Him, right? As well as discipleship will take everything. Okay. So here's the second one. This one is kind of more hard truth. Because discipleship isn't easy. It's not comfortable. Right? So it's so much more than what we truly possess. But you will not find comfort in discipleship. Well, you might find comfort, but if you are looking just to please yourself day in, day out, and that's all you want, you're looking in the wrong place. This is not where it is. So, Matthew verse 16, verse 24. Or sorry, no, that's not right. Matthew verse 16, verse 37 here. Never mind, no, you're right. Matthew 10, verse 25. And it says, Jesus said to disciples, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves, take up their cross daily." Right? It's the same verse as the first one, right? But I want to kind of summarize it in there, right? To the true thing that this is not comfortable, right? So I'm going to continue. "For whoever wants to serve their life will lose it, but whoever wants to lose their life for me will find it. What good will it be for someone to gain the whole world yet forfeit their soul? Or what can anyone give in exchange for their soul?" Right? So you have to give your life up. What I mean by that is the comforts of the world. Right? The truth. Right? So what good will it do for someone to lose the whole world yet forfeit their soul? Right? So you can, when you're not in discipleship, right? You have the whole world to do whatever you want. You have the sex before marriage. You have the drugs. You have the be gay. You have all these desires that you can tap into, right? But in exchange for that, you lose your soul. With discipleship, you don't have those desires because you're looking for something so much far greater than what the world can offer you. You're looking for your soul, the creator of the universe who saved you and has the deepest love for you, right? Okay. So I'm gonna turn a little bit farther back here. Go to Zechariah. A little bit back too far here. look for here. Sorry, Isaac. Okay, here I got it. Zechariah is a really short one here, so I have to make sure I'm getting it where I can. Okay, so we're going to be in Zechariah chapter 13, verse 9. It says here, "This is the third I will put into the fire. I will refine them like silver and test them like gold. They will call on my name, and I will answer them. I will say, they are my people. And they say, the Lord is our God." Okay. "I will refine them like silver and test them like gold." So to refine gold, what they have to do to refine gold, right? Is they have to heat the gold up to a temperature in order where it is hot enough so that you can mold it, right? So we can be able to mold it to where you want it to be, right? So it's the same way how God tests us in the fire to mold us, right? He uses hard things. What do I mean by hard? Well, I'll tell you. It's challenges in life. Like, let me give an example. If your roof is rotting out, right, and you don't know how you're gonna pay it, is that a challenge? Or you just got laid off and you don't know what to do? Is that a challenge? Absolutely is. And that God uses those challenges to mold our character, right? Makes us rely on Him, so that we can't turn around and be like, well, Lord, I'm gonna do something else. But then also forces us to rely on Him when we can't do anything. Okay. So it's so much more than just challenges. They're just like, hey, it's not God wanting to just make you have a hard life, but it's God shaping your character so that He can use you in whatever He sees fit. So I'm going to go ahead here to, or I guess go back somewhat, but yeah, I guess go ahead to Matthew again. A lot of you, used a lot of verses from Matthew because it's such a great thing for it, because it's just a story, so it's a lot more of Him talking. It's a lot more giving, like discipleship. It has a lot of content about discipleship here. So I'm gonna bring you to Matthew 7, chapter 7, verses 13 to 14. Okay. It says, "Enter through the narrow gate, for the wide gate is broad and the road that leads to destruction. Many enter through it, but the small gate is narrow, and the road that leads to life, and only a few find it." So this 2-verse subsection, it gives us a lot of insight, right? There's 2 roads here. There's a narrow one, and then there's a wide one, right? True discipleship will put you on the narrow one, right? But unlike the previous verses, we know it's not. We know it's hard to get there because of the hardness it is to truly deny yourself, pick up your cross, to desire something far greater than what the world can offer, right? And you have this, and then on the other hand, you have this wide gate, right? That's super easy to get into, because you just have to follow the flesh of the desire. You just have to follow the desires of the flesh, right? But with the narrow gate, you can't do that. You follow His will and what He wants you to do. But with this wide gate, it's super easy. So discipleship doesn't take you on the easy route. It takes you to the hard route because it builds your character. And it makes you depend on God for what you need. So to summarize this, right? Discipleship isn't comfortable. It's not supposed to be comfortable. God refines you like gold and silver so that He can mold you into the character that He wants you to be. And He makes you to make you rely on Him for what He truly is. Okay? And discipleship, true discipleship, is not easy to come by. It's not easy to come by because even if you think you're following God, a lot of people they just won't, because it's hard. Because the route that you are taking is, you're going over the hill instead of through it. Or you're going through the hill instead of going above the hill. So while you are on this journey, I want to remind you that God is there with you no matter what you're facing. Okay, so I'm going to lead you to my last part here. Victory is promised. It's promised for true disciples. Okay, not those who pretend to be Christians and I go to church on Sunday, but people that follow God daily. Okay, so I'm going to send you here to Mark here. Find it. Don't know my Bible that well. I don't memorize. I'm getting more about it, but yeah, I don't know where everything is yet. So bear with me here. Okay, so I'm gonna bring you here to Mark. Okay, Mark 10, verse 29 through 30. Okay, and it states, "Truly I tell you," Jesus replied, "no one who has left home or brothers or sisters or mothers or father or children or fields for me and the gospel will fail to receive 100 times as much in this present age. Homes, brothers, sisters, mothers, children, or fields, along with persecutions, and in the age to come, eternal life." Whereas this verse reassures us that whatever we lose will be presented to us 100 times. Just think about that. Just think about it for just a second. That whatever we lose, we'll get 100 of. So if you lose a home, you'll get 100. And listen, you won't obviously get 100 homes, but you'll get 100 times. I don't know what that's going to look like, but I can tell you it's worth it. It's really worth it to be able to give something up for Christ and to be able to get worth it. To be able to get more than what you had. That's pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to bring you here to Luke 23. Let me find it here. Just go right past it. Alright, so Luke 23, verse 43. And it states, Jesus answered him, "Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise." So I'm going to give you some context here, right? So this was on the day that Jesus was getting crucified, right? He was actively on the cross, actively being persecuted because he was the truth. Okay, and there are two criminals beside him. He was in the middle. He had his one on his left and his right. Okay, and the one on, I think it was left or his right. I want to say the one on his right was mocking him, saying, "Oh, if you're really Jesus, just save yourself from this cross and save us too." But the one on the left was being like, "No. He's like, "Lord, if I'm asking, Lord, when you go up into your kingdom, I ask that you remember me." And he was like, "Today," he's like, Jesus answered him, "Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise." So this criminal, right? He didn't live a discipleship life, but he gave heart, right? He gave heart to Jesus. True surrender. I want you to remember that word, surrender, because if you don't surrender anything, he can't mold gold or silver out of that. Or if you give him 5 minutes out of your day, or you give him 5 minutes out of your life, he can't do anything with that, right? But that criminal, he didn't do anything physical, but wrath, anything physical worth heaven, right? But Jesus was like, he saw the heart in him, and what did he say? He said, "Today you will be with me in paradise." So victory. He had the victory in the end. Right? So discipleship in the end will lead you to victory. No matter how long you're doing it for, but true discipleship will lead you into victory. Just like this criminal was led into victory as well. Okay. So now we're going to go to the major Gospels here, or the four major Gospels, the Gospels. And we'll be in John chapter 16 here. It'll be verse 33. And it says, I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. So, in this, here's some context. So this, Jesus is talking. So Jesus is talking to his disciples, right? He's saying, hey, he's talking to his disciples, right? He's saying, hey, when you go on this mission to reach the nations, right? You will be persecuted. You will have trouble for who you are, right? You will absolutely have trouble. And it'll be hard on you. But he's saying, hey, let me remind you of something. That no matter how hard it is, I've overcome the world. And that whatever you do for the glory of God. But when that time ends, I've already overcome the world. So you will be in victory. Right? Each and every one of us, no matter where we come from or what we do, we can be united in Christ. Right? And you might be an atheist. I mean, you probably clicked off all this video already, but still. There is truth within Jesus. There's hope and peace and joy and love, kindness, gentleness in Jesus. And if you are on that fence, I guide you, and I'm praying for you that you choose Jesus, because in the end of the day, it will lead you unto victory, no matter where you are. God bless.